So this video is a little bit less about getting a lot for your butt than it is more about getting a lot out of life. Why, hello there guys, and welcome back to Getting to Know Thailand one beer at a time with me, your crazy kooky host. Yes, it is Thailand's happiest hobo, starting today's video off with a rather startling admission. Listen, if you're thinking about retiring to Thailand, most likely you have been looking at one of the 5 major areas: Chiang Mai, Bangkok, Pattaya, Hua Hin, or down on positively perfect Phuket. And everybody knows how much I love Phuket. However, if I'm being honest with you and myself, I'm not quite sure that Phuket is the perfect place to retire to. However, I can tell you this much: Hua Hin may very well be the absolute go-to spot here in Thailand if you're looking to slow down and retire. Let me explain. Now, right away, I do want to say the reason why I did not include Koh Samui and Koh Phangan in this list is simply because typically these are spots that people go to party, they go to find themselves. There's a lot of digital nomads there having tons of fun, but you're not going to find a lot of people who have retired there. Now, if I'm wrong and you have retired there, please in the comment section tear me apart, but for the most part, let's be honest here. Samui, Koh Phangan, these are spots where you're going to party. You're going to have a good time. They're complete tourist destinations. They're not so much retirement havens, I guess is the best way to put it, which is why I did not include them in the list of the top 5 spots here for expats or retirees here in Thailand. So let's start off with the baby elephant in the room. Look, we'll get to the big one in a little bit, but I want to start off with this. All of the time I hear, oh, Phuket, it's so touristy. And sadly enough, Phuket is extremely touristy. Is that a good thing? I don't know. I know this much: it definitely helps the local economy. It brings some of the most interesting people in the country down here, if you know what I'm talking about. And it does afford you the ability to go out and do all kinds of things all of the time. However, you're going to be paying a lot more than what you would expect to because of the fact that it is so touristy. It also brings a lot of traffic, and this is one of the things that I hear all of the time about Phuket and just how bad the traffic situation is. It's bad. I'm going to tell you something, guys. It is horrific. I have seen so many accidents, so many horrific accidents down here on the island that it scares the out of me sometimes to drive. During my time up in Hua Hin, I didn't see anything crazy. I was absolutely amazed at how controlled and how not only convenient, but here's something that you're going to find absolutely crazy: how polite the traffic was there. People would stop and let you go. They would allow traffic to flow properly the way that you would hope that traffic flows. Unlike Phuket, where it's a death match every time you get on your bike here, especially in Patong. Holy, it is insane driving here. And I gotta say this much: when it comes to traffic, Hua Hin definitely has Phuket beat hands down, no question at all. Also, overcrowding. One thing I noticed, and I was actually in Hua Hin during the high season there, and from what I'm told, it's not that much different between low season, because there are so many retirees there and so many expats. Whereas Phuket, again, being touristy, draws a whole lot of people during certain times of the year, and it can be unbelievably crowded to the point that, again, I don't want to dwell on the traffic too much, but there's times when you're going down Beach Road and it can take you 20-25 minutes to get down Beach Road, which should be, during low season, a 5-minute scooter ride. Also, you'll go into shops and you'll have to wait sometimes 5 to 10 minutes to get a cashier, which can be a problem. The beaches, some of the beaches are completely, totally packed to the point that it's not an enjoyable experience. It's really not. And the worst part is, I'm not going to dwell on any nationalities or anything like that in this video. However, Phuket is drawing a certain crowd of people that, well, they're giving Phuket an incredibly bad name, as well as, they're not doing anything to enhance the reputation of their fellow countrymen. Let's just put it that way, okay? So crowd-wise and tourist-wise or visitor-wise, I gotta tell you again, hands down to Hua Hin, it definitely has Phuket topped in this metric for sure. Now, all that being said, I should mention the fact that Phuket is extremely easy to access, whereas Hua Hin, it's not so easy, if I'm being totally honest with you. Because Phuket is a tourist destination, we have flights in and out of here on the daily, all of the time. Every single hour there's a flight coming, going. Whereas in Hua Hin, they do have an airport. However, at the moment, there's one flight per week. So you're either going to be taking a bus, a taxi, a train, or your own personal mode of transportation from Bangkok or anywhere else in Thailand to get there. So yeah, Phuket wins this in a landslide, that's for certain, because getting to Hua Hin, again, it's not as convenient as coming to Phuket. Now, playing devil's advocate, if you are one of these people who really can't stand overcrowding, I could see where one flight per week would be an absolute benefit to you. So it's either way, but however, accessibility, affordability, I have to give it to Phuket on this one. Now, I know I said in the intro that this is not about getting a lot for your butt. However, let's be honest, when you're thinking about retirement, you do have to think about, your income, your pensions, your savings. How far is your dollar going to go? And flat out, I'm going to tell you, Hua Hin has Phuket. There's no comparison whatsoever. Everything here seems to be cheaper, and I'll be honest with you, this selection is 10 times what it is down south here. One thing I have noticed is property values. And I've been doing a lot of videos talking about, different condos here, different condos there. Hopefully you guys are catching those videos. If not, link in the description below. Listen, there's all kinds of spots here that you can get incredible deals on, such as this one here that I think is absolutely mind-blowing. Check this spot out. This is a fantastic example of the value that you can get here in Hua Hin compared to Phuket, because this 3-bedroom, 3-bath pool villa down on the island would definitely cost you a minimum of 70 to 75,000 baht. But here in Hua Hin, it's just barely over $1,000 a month. Yes, believe it or not, you can get this incredibly beautiful pool villa for 35,000 baht. Look, this place is spectacular. The pool's beautiful. The furnishings inside are top notch. And this place is just an incredible smoking deal. Again, it's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath pool villa for just barely over $1,000 a month. Again, there's just no comparison between the two when you're talking about getting value for your dollars when it comes to property. Now, also, motorbikes, scooters, stuff like this, the monthly rental fees here in Hua Hin are much lower than they are down on Phuket, which I think it's fantastic. Here's a prime example of a Honda Forza that I found on Facebook Marketplace through a rental company, and it is 5,000 baht a month, which is less than $140. This same bike down on Phuket is about 8,000 to 9,000 baht if you're lucky enough to find someone who will rent you one on a monthly basis. Typically down there, they want to rent the NMAX, the PCX, the smaller bikes. The bigger bikes like this, they want to rent on a weekly basis because they're getting, 3,000 to 4,000 baht a month for them. So here's one spot where you're definitely going to save some money. Not only that, I will tell you this much, being someone who loves bikes and who is constantly looking at bikes for sale on Facebook Marketplace, there is about a 20 to 25% difference in the prices of used bikes here in Hua Hin compared to down on Phuket. It doesn't matter what model you're looking for, what brand, Vespa, Honda, Yamaha, Scamoti. All of the bikes up here are much, much cheaper. Not only that, they seem to be bikes that have been owned by foreigners, expats. They're not ones that have been rented and beat to death like a lot of the bikes are down in Phuket. Definitely one thing to think about. Transportation on this rental and purchasing, much, much better here than down in Phuket. Now, while we're on the subject of transportation, everybody has heard how crazy it is down in Phuket. Listen, the taxi mafia, the tuk-tuk mafia down there is a real honest thing, and the prices are through the roof, okay? If you're going down to Phuket, I would strongly suggest that you download InDrive and Bolt. You can do Grab if you want to, but down on the island, Bolt and InDrive are the cheapest ways to get around. They do have some songtaos, they do have some tuk-tuks, but the tuk-tuk drivers are absolutely out of their minds with what they're charging people. And again, I hate to say it because Phuket's not looking so positively perfect here. Hua Hin has it beaten hands down again. The bus system here, the tuk-tuks, everything seems to be much, much better, far cheaper, and not so confrontational. Down in Phuket right now, for some strange reason, and I'm not sure if this goes with the whole taxi mafia thing, but damn, they're hostile to people who ask for a discount or ask for an actual honest fare. I know that when you're leaving Bangalore Road and you've had some drinks, the tuk-tuk drivers are going to take advantage of you, and you have to try and negotiate with them. Sometimes it's a fun experience. Sometimes it can turn absolutely brutally deadly. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It can be nuts down there. I have not heard that up here in Hua Hin. It seems to be much more relaxed. People are more open and willing to, give you an honest fare, okay? They're just essentially being fair at the end of the day. Where down there, yeah, not so much. Again, another hands down winner for Hua Hin. One of my favorite things about Phuket is also one of the things that I absolutely hate about Phuket, and that is rainy season. Listen, it can be absolutely brutal, and here in 2024, this is one of the worst rainy seasons we've seen in a long time. There's so much damage, there's carnage, there's landslides, there's mudslides, there's people losing their lives, there's houses being completely decimated, buildings, businesses falling onto the beach because the sand has just eroded away completely. And it can be absolutely miserable spending day after day after day in your room because it's just, the rain is insane. I have honestly seen streets here on Phuket that have turned into raging rivers 3 feet deep with water. That would be 1 meter. And I'm going to tell you something. It's absolutely crazy. And this goes for months. And right now, it's not a lot of fun. Hua Hin, on the other hand, they don't seem to get the same weather during rainy season. Yes, it rains, but then it stops and it's nice. It rains and it stops. And it's not these crazy, hard, pounding, driving rains. If you watch any YouTube videos or TikTok shorts, anything like that, you will see all kinds of videos of Bangkok and Pattaya and Phuket where the rainstorms are unbelievable. You don't see that in Hua Hin. I'm not quite sure why that is. I've also been told that on Koh Samui and Koh Phangan, it's kind of the same weather system where they're just not getting hammered for some strange reason. So why I love rainy season is because down in Phuket during rainy season, well, there's very few people there for one thing because it can be, as I said, miserable, and prices come down and down and down. However, you don't get a lot of chance to enjoy yourself. And there are some weeks that you'll spend 4 or 5, possibly even 6 days out of 7 confined to your room because it's that bad. And quite honestly, driving in that is really, really dangerous. So even though there are certain things about rainy season that I love down in Phuket, I fully understand that it's something that would drive a lot of people insane. And the older you get, you want consistency, you want, routine. Again, Hua Hin, what can I say? Yeah, it looks like it's winning this one too. This is not looking good for Phuket, is it, kids? No. Now, I don't want to go from being Thailand's happiest hobo to Donnie Downer. However, one depressing thing that you have to take into account when you're thinking about retirement is your health care. The older we get, the more it becomes important to think about how we're going to service our healthcare, who's going to service our healthcare, and just how good is the healthcare system. Well, guys, I'm going to tell you something. Here in Thailand, the healthcare system is absolutely phenomenal. I've talked to so many people who've had wonderful experiences here. Yes, I've talked to some people who have had horrific experiences, but for the most part, those are the guys who are completely, totally uninsured, and they would be, let's just say, in a mess if they were back in North America, especially the United States instead of Thailand. Here, the hospitals, even the local general hospitals for, just regular Thai people, are actually very nice, very clean, very professional. You can go up in quality of hospitals just like you can in hotels. I'll tell you something, a top tier hospital here is like a 5-star resort anywhere else in the world. They're absolutely incredible. And each place offers, I'm going to say, incredibly good healthcare. One reason a lot of the guys that I talked to in Hua Hin picked Hua Hin is because they do have 3 major hospitals right in Hua Hin, and they also have tons of clinics here and there. There's a specialist for anything that you can possibly think of all throughout the city. Down in Phuket, yes, there are a couple of hospitals, but I will say this much, the private healthcare down there is horrifically expensive. I'm going to say at least double the price of Hua Hin and Bangkok. I can't list all of the hospitals and stuff, guys, in the video, because if I did, this would take 18 years to finish. I will put, them in the description below. One thing I have heard repeatedly from all of the older expats, foreigners, retirees here is that they really, really enjoy the fact that they do have the 3 major hospitals as well as tons of clinics everywhere. So if you're the type of person who doesn't want to go to the hospital and you just want to stop into a clinic really quick, you can do that, no question at all. Dental care here is fantastic. Eye care, hearing, everything here just seems to be a step above Phuket for accessibility and price. I'm not going to say quality because I'm pretty sure that the quality is right around the same level, but price and accessibility definitely here in Hua Hin, it's a win again. Another incredibly important thing, massages and massage shops. Now, hear me out for a minute, guys, because I got a ton of massages while I was in Hua Hin. Keep in mind, I was doing a lot of driving. I did about 2,800 kilometers during this experience, this adventure, and my body was killing me, so I did go for a lot of massages. And I will say this much, the massages in Hua Hin are more expensive than Phuket, almost double the price of the places that I'm used to going. However, I was blown away by the fact that I was not really pressured or hassled to get a special massage, etc., etc. Yes, 1 or 2 of the girls joked with me, and it was not the pressure cooker sales tactics that they use down in Phuket, where if you say no, the massage is pretty much over, she's pissed off at you, and after 30 minutes of her going, no, here in Hua Hin, it was a complete, total different experience. The interaction, the bantering back and forth was actually kind of fun and enjoyable. It wasn't where she was making you feel horrifically uncomfortable or he was making you feel horrifically uncomfortable. Either way, value-wise, down in Phuket, again, it's half the cost that it is in Hua Hin. However, the experience, completely, totally different. So again, this one I'm going to give it a tie. It's a push because there's benefits to each one. Cheaper down in Phuket, but the overall experience I found to be a little bit more enjoyable up in Hua Hin. So I can see it already as I'm making this video. I know what the comment section is going to be. What about the girls? What about the girls? What about the girls? What about the girls? Well, if I'm being completely, totally honest, guys, I'm going to cover that in another video. But I will say this much right now. The girls are completely, totally different here in Hua Hin as compared to down on Phuket, okay? Down on Phuket, you are going to find all kinds of younger, incredibly gorgeous, absolute rockets, I guess, who, for the most part, are going to break your heart, steal your money, drain your bank account, and leave you an absolutely broken fool. Whereas here in Hua Hin, it is completely different. I will say this much, again, I'm going to cover this in another video, but I did not see anything that creeped me out in the sense that there was like a 75-year-old man with a 19-year-old kid. I didn't see that here at all. For the most part, it was like guys in their 60s, 70s with girls who were in their 40s, 50s, 60s. They looked like they should be together. That's a good way to put it. They do have walking streets. Soi Bintabat and Soi 80 here are probably the most famous ones. That's where you're going to go in. You're going to find your girls, etc., whether or not you're looking for whatever. That's where you're going to find it. Compared to down on Phuket, where you have Bangla Road, you have all kinds of, well, the girl situation. I will say this much, the girls on Phuket are much better looking, I guess is the best way to put it. But they're vicious, fierce, and nasty. Whereas from what I've heard from a lot of the guys up here, it's almost like the girls down in Phuket or in Pattaya, once they get to be a certain age, they come over to Hua Hin, slow down, and honestly try to find someone that they can treat nice and who will treat them nice. So the girl situation, guys, is completely, totally different. You cannot compare the two. If you are looking at it from the standpoint that you want crazy, sexy, fun, exciting stuff, Phuket's got this place beat, no question at all. If you're looking for more the chance of finding someone who's actually going to be nice and kind to you the rest of your life, you might want to give this a shot, really. Now, along with that, I do have to mention this. Prices here are half of what they are down in Phuket. Be it your bar fine, be it your lady drinks, half of what it is down in Phuket. Half. All I'm going to say, half. The few times that I had to go to a shopping mall here in Hua Hin, I was absolutely blown away by how busy it was. It was crazy. Now, keep in mind, while I was here, it did rain pretty much on the daily, but it was only, again, an hour, maybe 30, 40 minutes tops, and then it would get nice. However, everyone seemed to gravitate towards the shopping malls, and they are everywhere. Again, I don't have time to mention them all, but the shopping here is, I'm going to say, more accessible. It's bigger. There's definitely more shopping malls. And the value here it's incredible. I couldn't believe how you could get actual really nice shorts, really nice shirts and stuff for 100 baht at all kinds of stores. Yes, you can spend more than that, but if you're looking to get a lot for your baht, you can get some incredible deals here. Also, the food selection at the shopping malls. One of them had this in the Village Mart, Villa Mart, I think it was called, had an incredible food court down in the lower level. Just amazing food, amazing selection. Prices just this. I don't think the street food was as cheap as the food court. I was blown away by that. And yeah, the shopping is fantastic. They do have your high-end shops if you're looking for, luxury brand names. They have lower end stuff. It just, again, I hate to say this, But the older you get, the more you appreciate shopping malls because, well, when the weather's shitty out, what else are you going to do than walk around checking out the local talent at a shopping mall, which is apparently what a lot of the single guys do here in Hua Hin. Well, I gotta tell you, the more I do this video, the more I'm getting concerned that I might get voted off the island Survivor style because it's not looking great for Phuket at this moment. Night markets. I love going to night markets. And I'm not sure if it's just because, well, they were so new to me, but I found the night markets in Hua Hin to be completely, totally better than down in Phuket. It just seems like all of the night markets, unless you're going to an obscure one on Phuket, are geared towards tourists. Again, this comes back to what I said in the very beginning of the video about how Phuket has this terrible reputation as being a total tourist destination. And yeah, I guess it is. The night markets. I really enjoyed the night markets in Hua Hin. The selection, the atmosphere, the fun, and the prices. I found the prices crazy at the night markets in Hua Hin, in a good way. Blown away by the value that you could get, and again, the variety of stuff that we just don't have down on Phuket. Like these hot dogs. I'm going to tell you something. Of all of the things that I miss about Canada in North America, it's the hot dogs. And to be able to get these, especially with real mustard, oh, this was just heaven. And these were so cheap, it's crazy. These were like $2 each. The Tamarind Night Market. They had a Mexican spot that had these incredibly grilled birria tacos. They were just unbelievable. And again, it comes back to getting a lot for your butt, pricing and stuff. These tacos at the night market were way cheaper than any tacos I've seen at a restaurant down on Phuket. And this was something that I was, again, maybe it's because it was all new to me, but I just found the night markets up in Hua Hin fantastic. Especially the Soi 88 Chang Night Market. There's actually a name for it, but everyone just calls it the Chang Night Market or the Soi 88 Market. I loved this spot. I was there pretty much on the daily because of those hot dogs, the food, and the entertainment there was just fantastic. Now, the only shitty thing about it is it's the Chang Night Market. Hence, Chang. You cannot get Leo beer there. So what I did was I suffered through a couple of Changs, and then I got myself some Sangsum, some Schweppes, made my own cocktails, had a blast there all of the time. And again, the food, the entertainment, it's popping there. Whereas, again, down in Phuket, it's just so much touristy. You're not getting that interaction with the locals, and Again, I'm getting quite worried they're going to vote me off the island. I hope that my friends on Phuket don't see this because, it's not looking good. Now, while we are talking about food, variety, selection, and value, I will say this much. I was really impressed with the quality of the food here in Hua Hin, the prices. I know a lot of people go on about how, you get what you pay for. And, there's certain instances where, yes, you definitely get what you pay for. However, when it comes to Thailand and food, I do not adhere to that principle at all. Some of the worst meals I've had here have been the most expensive, and some of the best meals I've had here have been, 30 baht noodles on the side of the road from some spot that you would never ever think to stop at if you were back in North America. However, here in Thailand, it just seems so romantic and fun, and the food is incredible, and you will thank yourself trust me, you'll be so happy that you stopped at that roadside noodle shop. So I can't go with that whole you get what you pay for when it comes to food. I will say this much. The food here in Hua Hin definitely seems to be better value down in Phuket. It has a much more international flavor. And I don't mean the taste. What I mean is there's more variety. There's stuff, again, like the hot dogs that you just simply can't get down in Phuket. There's pizza here that just, I have always said that De Moreno's pizza down on Nanai Road in Phuket is my favorite pizza. Man, I'll tell you something. Some of the pizzas at the night markets here, especially the one at Tamarind, woo, they blew my socks off. And the value, same prices down in Phuket for, you know, a full-size pizza, $7 US. So if you're like me and you love your tacos and stuff, here I found the Mexican food not only plentiful, but also affordable. Compared to Phuket, where it's expensive to go for Mexican food, here it's just like going out for Thai food down in Phuket, to be honest with you, almost the same. There's all kinds of restaurants. There's any type of food you can possibly think of, you're going to find here in Hua Hin, as well as down in Phuket. Don't get me wrong, Phuket has some incredible restaurants. I love, you know, my Rong Bay steak and ramen. Again, you know, De Moreno's pizza. But I just found here there was just so much more variety, and the value was mind-blowing. Especially if you're like me and you love going to the night markets. The night markets, I was just, the pricing and the value at the night markets is just, it's incredible. I hate to say it, Hua Hin has my vote for food value, no question at all. It's just better. I hate to say it, it's better. Proximity to Bangkok. This is one of the things that I was absolutely blown away by when I was talking to guys up in Hua Hin, because they're like, oh, we're so close to Bangkok, you know, we can jump on a train, we can take a bus, etc., etc. And I thought to myself, well, that kind of makes sense, because I can see why a lot of people would want to go to Bangkok, just to get a more, you know, cosmopolitan feel, you know, to go and, you know, just have fun in Bangkok. There's nothing in the world like Bangkok. However, here's where, you know, and I touched on this earlier about the fact that, you know, there's no planes really. There's 1 week and that's it out of, you know, the airport in Hua Hin. So you are definitely going to have to take a train, a bus, a car, a taxi, etc., etc. And I know this is not a get a lot for your butt video. However, it's damn cheap, okay? You can take a train for as low as 150 baht, which is about $4.50. You can take a bus for about 250 baht, which is right around $7.50 US. However, it takes you 2 hours and 45 minutes by bus, 3 hours and 30 minutes by train, whereas down in Phuket, you can fly to Bangkok in 1 hour and 15 minutes. And I have actually myself personally gotten tickets as low as 800 baht, which is right around 24 US dollars. So yeah, Hua Hin is much closer, but when you factor in that you're going to have to take a bus, a car, a taxi, a train, whereas from Phuket you can fly there. Granted, you have to get to the airport, but still, yeah, I think this one is a toss-up. Of all of the ones that I was surprised that people brought up constantly, and again, every guy I talked to was like, oh, it's really close to Bangkok. It's really, yeah, I'm sorry guys, I'm not giving you that one. This one is it's a push, it's a tie. Personally, myself, I'd rather fly. I'm telling you that right now. I'm not big on public transportation. I might give Phuket a little bit of an edge here. Now, if I've heard it once, I've heard it at least once. And that is the fact that Phuket's properties are crazy expensive. And I will say this much, I'm not going to agree with that completely, because as you guys know from a lot of my videos, I have found some incredible deals down here, and I love the spots that I have lived. Yes, my pink palace that I'm currently in right now is it's a step below what I'm typically used to. However, video, social media experiment wise, it's what I need to be living in at the moment. However, I will say this much. I have been absolutely amazed at the deals that you can get in Hua Hin, especially on villas. Now, the condos that they have up there, unbelievable deals again, but the villas, if you're looking to have something, where you would like a couple of bedrooms, perhaps you're going to have some friends visit you, or, you've got family with you, or just, you're sharing costs. Villas up in Hua Hin, quite honestly, are half the cost of down in Phuket. Here's a great example. This spot here is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a pool that is currently listed for 30,000 baht. And I'm going to tell you something. This place down in Phuket would be at least 60 to 75,000 baht a month. No question at all. So I think that you can get unbelievable value for your money up here. It doesn't matter if you're a hobo trying to, stretch your pension as far as you can, or you are financially stable and well off and just looking to enjoy the highest, I hate this term, but the highest quality of life that you can possibly get, or standard of living, I should say. Your money is going to go a lot farther here in Hua Hin, which I think is an absolute bonus. And I have done, again, many videos showing you guys all the different options that are available. I've got one coming up in a couple of days, guys, about pool villas here in Hua Hin for under $1,000 a month. Every single one has its own pool. You will not believe the value that you can get here compared to down in Phuket. The only time you get these deals on Phuket is during rainy season, and they're not letting you sign up for a 3-6 month. No, they're only doing month to month. That's it during rainy season. And even then, a lot of the time they will hassle you by bringing people in, looking at the unit, showing them for, future rentals. Yeah, again, I might get voted off the island. This is not looking good for me or Phuket, to be honest with you. Property values, Hua Hin, hands down winner again. I would like to add, guys, listen, if you are coming here and living here long term, you've secured your visas, etc., and you do not want to rent, be very careful while buying a property here. Make sure you talk to the proper lawyers, proper real estate agents, and you understand all of the ins and outs of owning a property here. Guys, please be so careful when you're putting it in somebody else's name, which you're going to have to do if you're not doing a leased property. That being said, properties in Hua Hin are about 33% cheaper on the average than they are down on Phuket. It would shock you what you can get here for about $100,000 okay? And $100,000, guys, is not a lot of money. It is about 3.5 million baht, and take a look at a couple of these. This is what you can get right now here in Hua Hin for 3.5 million baht, $100,000. You can barely buy a piece of land down on Phuket for this. You could buy a shitty condo for that, but you're not getting something like this. No way. So there we go. Listen, first off, if you've made it this far into the video, I want to thank you so much. And if you're not already subscribed, please hit subscribe. It's down in the corner, one of the corners. I'm not sure which one. Anyways, what are my overall thoughts? I think Hua Hin is absolutely fantastic. Value-wise, I think it's got Phuket beat hands down. There are certain things about Phuket that I really love, and I will get to those in an upcoming video. One of the things that I love about Phuket are the beaches. The beaches here in Hua Hin do not compare. There's just something about the Andaman Sea that the Gulf of Thailand cannot. There's just, again, you cannot compare the two. Value-wise, I think Hua Hin is incredible. It is definitely, again, it's 3/4 of the cost to live here that it is to live down in Phuket. There's tons of things to do here. There's all kinds of activities for people. Would I pick Hua Hin over Phuket? Well, as we all know, I have said many, many times that I truly believe that Phuket is positively perfect. And I'm not going to answer that question in this video because I'm not ready to make a commitment. However, I can tell you this much. If you are looking for the ideal spot to retire and value, as well as entertainment, personal health, access to friends and different groups to do things with, Hua Hin definitely should be the top of your list. Why am I not ready to make that commitment? Guys, you're going to have to check next week. I'm going to do a video as to what I think are the major differences between Hua Hin and Phuket for someone like myself. And if you're anything like me, I feel bad for you, but you're probably going to agree with me on the upcoming video. Anyways, guys, till next time, that was getting to know Thailand one beer at a time with me, your crazy kooky host. Again, please keep the beers cold, keep them coming. Till next time, cheers.